everybody, I'm Kathy Hester and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to unbox my latest Misfit Market, which is an organic produce box that I order, and we'll talk a little bit more about that if you're not sure what that is. But this is it here. I've wiped off the outside with like little disinfectant wipes, and then what I do with my produce is then I put it in some soapy water, rinse it really well, sometimes even go ahead and break it down and store it ready to use. So that's what we're going to talk about. And I see a couple of people are on already. So if you would like to say hi in the comments, tell me where you're from or what the weather's like. Today it has been both cloudy and sunny, chilly and kind of springy. So it's been all the days today. Hi Anita, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a little while. I hope everyone's doing well. Well, okay, it went from a couple of people to a lot more people. So please tell me hello, where you're from. Anita, it's wonderful to see you. So this Misfit Market, all the produce I'm going to show you is $35 for the large box. It is all organic. There are two things that I ordered as add-ons, and I'll be real specific about those because those were not included in it. Depending on where you're watching this, somewhere there is a code should you want to order your first Misfit Market box for 25% off. If not, I'm going to kind of give some tips and tricks along the way. Plus, I just like showing off this produce. For all the boxes that I've tried so far, this one I feel like is the most value, and I feel like the produce has been the nicest most consistently. So you have to remember, hi Lorna, sorry, I don't know why I read that wrong. Hi Lorna, and Sherry, and Carrie, and Lorna is from Northwest California. It's overcast. Carrie's in Knightdale, North Carolina. That is not far from me in Durham, North Carolina. And there's Linda saying hi. It's a beautiful sunny day, 54. Elizabeth Bell, hi, it's good to see you. And Norma is in Prescott, Arizona. Very windy, and it's in the 70s. That sounds kind of heavenly. And Sherry is from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. So this is the big box. So Misfit Market, it's imperfect produce. So sometimes I've gotten things that are very large or very tiny, or they're things that normally wouldn't get sold in stores. Also right now, through this whole new normal thing, it's been awesome because I've had produce come to my house once a week. The way it works is you can get a large box like I do or a small box. You can get it every week like I do or every other week. There are also other ways you can do this. You can try and contact local farmers about a CSA or see if they have some like safe contactless pickups. If you know of some places like that in your area, please put them in the comments with links to them. There's also Hungry Harvest, Imperfect Produce, and a few others. Misfit Market is not all over the United States yet, but they've been branching out a lot. And Thelma is from Florida, and welcome to our exciting time we're about to have. So I know they've been using trying out new packing materials, and this almost looks like cottony. And so I'm interested. I'm going to try and do some research on this. So this is still in a plastic bag, but it's also summer-ish weather, so they do have to make sure things stay cold enough. This just got delivered today. So what happens is in the Misfit warehouse, wherever those are, there's several, they pack this together, then it goes to FedEx or UPS, and then it comes to us. So there is some time in between. So I ordered some cilantro. And this is a nice big head of cilantro. And I'll let you guys also see it. Oh, where do I have my, ooh, there we go. And I try to put things on here where we can kind of end up seeing all of it because it's a lot. I got some kale. The kale looks a little wimpy today. And I did just get this box. So it's a little wimpy. It's a little limpy. But what I'm going to do is actually, in soaking it in the soapy water, because I've got cold soapy water, it's going to plump up a little bit, and then I'm going to rinse it off. If we weren't in the time of washing everything the way we are, just put it in some ice water, and it'll plump up too. So there are a couple of spots on this one. It's not bad. It's just not as good as it is sometimes. I always show you the good and the bad. So see how it's a little bit yellowish around here. But what I would do is use some of those that look a little more yellowish today. You can always tear the kale up or some stronger greens and just put them in the freezer as is. Do not do that to something like lettuce or spinach. It's going to liquefy, but kale is hardy enough that it'll be okay. Alrighty, I got Radicchio, and actually I have 2 heads of Radicchio. And so this is a bitter green. It's chicory. So it's yummy in salads. You can roast it. You can do all kinds of things with that. So I was really curious, and these are kind of good. We can do that. It's not quite as big as my head, but I think with 2, it's pretty darn close. So let me make sure I'm sitting this down where we can see these pretty good. Okay, and if you guys have any questions as we're going along, please feel free. I got some Shishito Peppers. And these are really good if you just air fry them with a little bit of salt. They're delicious. And then I have a bunch of onions. So I got 2 different kinds of onions. I think the baby ones are baby Vidalia onions. And I got a bunch of those. So woo! I'm just getting crazy with those onions. Trying to get some of the extra stuff. Okay, there's some more onion. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 little onions. And these would kind of be good just to roast, maybe, even whole. But you can also go ahead and cut up any onions or peppers. Don't cook them and just put them in Ziplocs or freezable containers. I like Ziplocs because then I can just smack it on. I have some silicone Ziplocs as well, and you can just get out exactly what you need. So we may be up for a chop and chat this week. So that'll be really fun too. So I've got some limes. It looks like, because there's 2 layers of stuff here, so we're still on layer 1. I've got 5 limes, and I've been making some little cocktails and lemonades and limeades and stuff like that, so that's been really nice. And then I've gotten some lemons as well. And there may be some more of this on the bottom. Looks like I've got 4 big lemons, 6 limes we're at now. Okay. And I've got some oranges. And I may have gotten a couple of different kinds of oranges. But again, because we've been using them in different things, I've been really enjoying the citrus a lot. And then I've got some apples. And again, we're still on layer 1. There's more to come. So let's see what this looks like right now. So that's just part of my $35 of organic produce. And I think, at least where I live, let's see. Where I live, this is a very, very good deal. Now I'm taking the piece of paper off between the layers, and we're going to look at the second layer. And so also now I will quickly show you 2 things that are not included in $35 that I'm trying. It's Minor Figures chai and oat milk. These are a little banged up, but I wanted to try it. It's black tea concentrate with spices and sweeteners, and it's vegan, and it's made in the UK, which may be why I've never heard of it before. But it's a 1 to 4 concentrate, so I do like a 1/4 cup. No, I do a 1/4 cup for a cup of milk, and this is an oat milk that I never tried, so I wanted to try it. These I paid extra for, so we're not going to put them in the main thing. They were my treat. And now we're back. Okay. I got 2 kinds of onions, and these are my other kind of onions. They're bigger. And you will notice that some of the stuff, you know, just like when you get produce at the store, you have to get the little bits and pieces off. Okay. So let me put those in here near the other onions. And Anita eats oranges every day. They're so good for a snack, aren't they? So I got some little bitty taters. Let me let you see these. And some of them have some dirt on it. Some of them do not. I think that's... Sorry about the jiggle, but that way you can kind of see a little bit better. So I got sweet potatoes, and I've got 3, like fairly, I'd say medium large, medium, small-ish. But wait, you see these 2 guys. So this pretty much gets to be bigger than my head. Pretty close. So these would be really good to cook up for either like a mash or to cook them and slice them the way Chef AJ does in like thick bread slices, and toast them and use them like sweet potato bread. So that could be kind of interesting to do too. Let's see if we can still see these at all on here. Yeah, you sort of can. Get these guys kind of here. We got a few more things to go. And what those are is acorn squash, and these are big. These guys, because sometimes acorn squash can come in little teeny tiny sizes, but this is like a medium one. This one's pretty good. But I mean, this is going to be nice. So one of the things you can do with acorn squash is because you can eat the skin on acorn squash. You don't have to peel them. These are already organic too, right? So I could either cut it, take the seeds out, roast it. You could cut slices and roast it if you wanted to kind of have something be a little more a fork meal instead of just something kind of cut up. You could serve it on a salad. You could split this in half, roast it, take the seeds out, roast it, and fill it with some leftover grain, seeds, maybe fruit mixed in there for like something kind of really yummy. But this is what I have today. It's a little lighter than some weeks. Okay, so I would say this is on, if you look at the super heavy, extra produce and this one, this is one of the 2 that have the least. But I don't see this as being the least. Do you know what I mean? There's more than enough food here for a week, for sure. The greens are the only thing that I feel like might be a little bit that's not going to last as long. I don't think these are going to last a whole week. We'll see when I soak them if the rest look good. I'm going to have to peel a little bit of this off. But radicchio is often very expensive in the grocery stores where I live. So see, once I peel off that, then it's going to be really pretty awesome. Let's see, get that rest of that off. And it's just kind of like you would a cabbage. You know, some parts could be not as fresh as others, but then that looks all beautiful. It smells really nice and fresh and a little bitter. So I still think for the poundage, because this is supposed to be, let me go and look again so I can tell you the exact Misfit market. The boxes, the Madness box is 18 to 22 pounds of vegetables, and there's definitely 18 to 22 pounds. I think there's probably 20 pounds in here. It's heavy to lift, but it's not so heavy you can't get it up, that you, being me, can't get it up the stairs. And the smaller box, which is called the Mischief, this is the Madness. So of course I have to have that one, right? And the Mischief box is $22. This is $30, I think. Let me check again. So the Mischief box is 10 to 13 pounds of food, and it's $22. The Madness is 18 to 22 pounds of food for $35. So that's how that works. You can get them weekly or every other week, and you can do that with most of them. And so Cynthia just came on and said she just missed the beginning. So basically what we're doing, I get the Madness box from Misfit Market, and what I get 18 to 22 pounds of food, which I definitely have, especially with these giant sweet potatoes and these acorn squash. And I'll show you from overhead again. So this is all the things that were in my large box for $35, and then it's $5 for shipping, I think, on either box you get. I've never got the smaller one. But for that, and everything here is organic. So I got 2 bunches of kale, 4 large lemons, 6 oranges. I got a bunch, like 7 tiny onions that I knew were tiny. I picked those. Then 3 larger ones, some Shishito Peppers, 2 heads of Radicchio. I've got 6 limes. I've got 4 smaller potatoes that'll be great for roasting. I got some cilantro, 6 apples, 2 fairly large acorn squash, 1 small sweet potato, 2 medium sweet potatoes, and 2 giant sweet potatoes. And I know that where I live in Durham, North Carolina, I can't buy this much organic produce for $35. And this, like I said, this is a little on the lighter side, so maybe it's more 18 pounds. I would never go ahead and weigh this because it would seem ridiculous. I'm not unhappy with this amount of food at all, in any way, shape, or form. I have gotten some boxes that we almost couldn't get up the stairs that they were so heavy. They were definitely more than 22 pounds. So I never feel like a light box that I'm getting kind of cheated or that I'm not getting the value. I've always felt like I've gotten the value for every box. Sometimes I feel like I get too much value. I also ordered some, this was separate, some oat milk and some chai. And I've got to see, I want to make sure that these aren't leaking. I think one of them may be. If one of them is leaking, what I'm going to do is take a picture of it and send it to Misfit Market, and they will either refund me or send me another one. So it's easy peasy. And Cynthia's asking, do you pick what you want from a selection they have? So it depends on what area. The first order you get, you do not get to pick. So that's the first thing. And then for me, they came to my area, but they did not roll out choosing what I get for a couple of months probably, and now I'm able to choose. So you can choose or not. I could still get a surprise box if I want to. And what happens is they'll have like 3 or 4 different categories, but the categories aren't like fruit or whatever. They'll have a grouping of fruits and vegetables, another grouping of fruits and vegetables, and this one you'll pick 3 of, this one you'll pick 6 of, and it'll change around. So sometimes you can't necessarily still get everything that you want, because you're not just picking 20 things off of a big long list. You're picking, you know, the things off of certain lists, and then you have a quota to use for that. But like I said, and now they're doing more things like chocolates. I got some chocolates, I think, last week or the week before, or both, perhaps. They had some Taza vegan milk chocolate, which was lovely, actually. Taza chocolate tends to be a little more bitter and edgy, and I had never seen this milk chocolate that they had, but it was really good. And Marissa says, do I feel like the surprise boxes were worth it? I eat a lot of produce, but there's still quite a few things I don't eat often enough, and I'd worry about some of the food going bad. I think some of it has to do with the prep. So like these sweet potatoes, onions, oranges, even kind of the apples, and definitely the acorn squash, those are going to be around for longer than a week, right? They can store for a couple of weeks really pretty easily in the potatoes. So the only thing in this batch that I feel like I need to worry about eating soon is the kale, the radicchio, and the cilantro, and the shishito peppers. So if you get something like root vegetables, you can always, if you think you're not going to eat them, and that's another chop and chat. I've been storing a bunch of root vegetables in the fridge. They'll store for a really, really long time. But I'm going to roast up a bunch of those and actually freeze some of them roasted. So that's one thing you can do. Like these onions, theoretically, all the onions and peppers I get, I chop up then, and then I put in the freezer so they're chopped and ready to go for me. I've been taking any of the greens And I've been going ahead and breaking it down and putting it into little containers like this that have kind of something in the bottom to keep them from kind of getting gross as bad. And I'll have it all packed in here. I had one packed full of kale. And then what I did is, because it's already prepped, it's already torn up, I can just pull that out and throw a handful into anything that I'm making. So that makes it go a little bit quicker too. So I hope that helps, Marissa. And Anita said, can you freeze carrots? I have never frozen carrots, but I do not see why you could not. You would probably want to blanch them or dip them in boiling water for like, forget how many seconds it is to be a blanch. Is it like 15, 10? And cool them down. And what that does is it kills the bacteria that's actually on the vegetables, and that helps them stay fresh longer while it's frozen. I have carrots in my fridge that grow, start growing things. So they actually start not growing mold, but like growing roots. And I just peel them off. So I often will have turnips, rutabagas, beets, carrots, and things like that in the fridge for a very, very, very long time. And they hold up really well. And Lorna says onions don't last long enough to freeze at my house. And that's good. See, I just use them in saute. Cheryl hates them. Sabrina says, I get the Madness box every week, but I still like to see what you got. I know. It's really fun, and it always amazes me how many people show up to see what's in here. But it's a lot of fun. I like it. And Marissa says it does help, and it's a good idea to freeze and chop onions. Yeah, and you can do that with mushrooms too. We just did that last week. We had a chop and chat. So if you want to look on Plant-Based Instant Pot Facebook page, or YouTube, either one, I think I put it up both places this time, where I chop mushrooms, we chat about some stuff, and I talk about how I prep them for freezing, which is to put them in a bag if they're chopped. You can slice mushrooms and put them on some sort of sheet pan or lay them out flat, put them in the freezer, let them freeze. Then you can put them in a bag or a freezer-safe jar. And Cynthia says, I just started chopping my onions and freezing them since your last live. I'm so thankful for that trick. It's a game changer, just because it's easy enough to get it done once. You know, like these 3 big onions, I can chop those up really quickly and easily and then use them all week long. And then that's just a little bit less prep I have to do. And it makes it a little easier to go ahead and just get all the stuff done. And Carol says, so you roast root veggies, then freeze, later maybe air fry or put in stews. Yeah, that's the idea. I haven't done it yet, but that's what I'm going to do. One of the things is Cheryl is into these bowls. There's a restaurant called Kava, and she's really into it. So you can choose like beluga lentils or brown rice. You can do those together. You can have like something that's similar to a cruciferous crunch or salad. And then she can get the falafel because they're vegan, but they're not gluten-free. I get the roasted vegetables there. So they just put 2 big scoops of roasted vegetables on top of that, and you pick a bunch of different vegetable and pickled vegetable toppings, and you can do some different dressings or drizzles. And so I was thinking, if I had the roasted vegetables already, that in kind of bowl-sized bags, probably I could just pull out one, heat it up in the air fryer again, and get it a little bit warm and softer, and then put that on a bowl. So that's the plan. Do you guys have any other questions? Let me leave you with, for those of you, that's how I feel whenever I get them. And sometimes even when I'm looking at the list, I'll pick out things I wouldn't necessarily buy at the store. Like Radicchio isn't something I'd normally buy, but I feel like it's kind of a little treat. Last week I got some purple broccolini that was an extra, an add-on. So it was not within the $35 box. But they have things like mushrooms. Sometimes they'll have some different vegetables or berries or oatmeal, all different kinds of things that you can add on in the box as well. And Elizabeth, how am I doing? I'm doing okay. I'm trying to do a very many things this week. So I had two woo weeks, and now it is May 13th, and I am planning my May classes. Hopefully they'll be up today and you guys will see about them. I have the list of what I'm going to do. I just have to put them in there. I'm also teaching some video classes at the same time, and I've been doing some interviews about how to do live video different places. And if that's something you guys are interested in, let me know. And or better yet, go to kathyhester.com and sign up on the mailing list there. That's where I'm putting all the live video stuff. So, should you want. Most of you are not going to overlap into that audience. And Lorna says, thank you, this has been fun, reminds me of CSA baskets. And it is a lot like that. Sophie, I was wondering if you were going to come in. Hello. And Elizabeth gives me a big kissy hug. And Sabrina says, I received regular broccolini last week. It was so good. Yum. And I can be bad sometimes. Sometimes I push things, so I may not use everything one week and finish it up the next week. That's something else that I do sometimes. And we have quite a bit of broccoli and some things left over from last week, and that's one of the reasons why I ordered mostly food this time that's going to last longer. So I can kind of go in, finish that stuff up, and then bring, the next week I'll go ahead and get some other fresher things. And Carol, Elizabeth said, do I have a soundtrack for my videos? I do not, although Howard Jacobson's son was trying to make something for me that was pretty funny the other night. And Cynthia says, where do we find your class list? The current classes are up at kathyhester.podia.com. The May classes aren't up yet, but you can get April classes and other classes from this year. If you go to kathy-hester.teachable.com, you can get some classes from last year. And in fact, let me see what the code is for those. I believe it's Eat Healthy, Be Kind. Nope, I'm in the wrong place. Let's go back here again. That's my soundtrack. Kathy being crazy. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's one thing. A lot of people want to join some stuff, which is lovely. And speaking of joining, if you're not already in my private Facebook group that's free, go over to Vegan Recipes Cooking with Kathy Hester, because we'd love to have you there. And it is Eat Healthy, Be Kind. So if you go to kathy-hester.teachable.com, you can get $15 off of any class, as many classes as you want. They're usually $35 each. They're a 2 to 3 hour class, and you get the recipes and everything, and you can watch it over and over again. And you get $15 off, making them $20 each. And that's kathy-hester.teachable.com. So far this year, I've switched to a different platform, and I haven't combined the two yet. And the new classes are up at kathyhester.podia.com. And what will happen is that, because I was hoping to get these up way before today, I don't know how it's almost 5 o'clock. I honestly have no earthly idea. And I see that even more people are on here. So this is my bounty from this week's box. And Jackie says, good afternoon. She's watching from work. And Sophia wants to know what I'm going to make with all that yummy produce. I'm thinking of roasting the radicchio and making it in with some pasta. The cilantro is for my tacos and Mexican food. I might also make some dal. Cilantro is really good in curries. We've been using all the citrus in making drinks, or eating oranges some, but I have been making some cocktails and mocktails. These I'm going to air fry with just a little bit of salt, not sauce. These I've been putting in and just sauteing, but I've also been putting kale and other hard greens in smoothies. The acorn squash, I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to roast them. These sweet potatoes, I I might make sweet potato muffins. Maybe sweet potato oatmeal muffins sounds really good. So that's where I'm going with some of that. And Sophie says it's 11 p.m. there. And I'm like, that is past my bedtime, Missy. I'm already wondering how it's almost dinner time. And that everything is not done the way I want it to be done. But anyhow, so that kind of gives you that. And you can get some medjool dates. I've gotten, I don't know if I got medjool dates or if I just got regular dates. But mine were a little dry that I got from Misfit Market. There's nothing wrong with them. I just make sure to, some dates I don't have to soak before maybe I put into a smoothie or something, and some I do, and those I do. And Jackie's saying stuffed acorn squash sounds good, and it does sound kind of good. I love the sweet creaminess of the acorn squash flesh with just like that little bite that you get when you're eating the outside, the peel. And one of the first time I ever had tempura a bazillion years ago in New York, it had a slice of acorn squash in it, and it was magical. It was just magical. I can still remember how that tasted, and it was, oh my God, it was probably 30 years ago. And I remember where I was sitting, what the lighting was, and exactly how that just, the flesh just melted and the little snap of the, And have a good night, Sophie. And I bet you're tired, and I'm actually going to go so I can maybe get some May classes together so you guys can sign up for some, because we're going to make some really cool stuff. And it's going to be fun as always. If you have some more questions, let me know. If you tag me, I try to check these fairly often, but tag me if you have some questions about Misfit Market. If you have a CSA that you can do contactless pickup, or they do deliveries, or a different service than I use that you like, please put it in the comments for everyone to see. I don't work with this company in any way, shape, or form. It's just the one that I'm using right now and I'm most happy with. So please share, because I know it's a little harder to get fresh vegetables for some people now than later. And Elizabeth is hungry. So am I. I don't even think I ate today. This has been a wacky day. And Cynthia says she can't wait, and I can't wait either. And you guys have a wonderful night. Be kind to yourselves and be kind to as many people as you can today. Okay? Talk to you next time.